Miyuki Tanaka pressed her palm against the cool glass of her corner office on the 42nd floor, watching Tokyo's neon-lit sprawl stretch endlessly beneath her. Each light representing a life she would never touch, a choice she would never make. At 26, she had inherited more than her father's telecommunications empire. She had inherited the weight of a 1,000-year-old family legacy that demanded she marry for alliance rather than affection, produce heirs rather than pursue happiness, and silence the restless voice in her heart that whispered of a different kind of life entirely. The engagement announcement lay on her mahogany desk like a prison sentence wrapped in gold-embossed paper, announcing her upcoming union to Hiroshi Nakamura, heir to Japan's largest steel conglomerate, a man she had met exactly 3 times and who looked at her the same way he examined quarterly profit reports, with calculated interest but no warmth whatsoever. Their families had orchestrated this merger disguised as marriage with the precision of a military campaign, and everyone seemed satisfied except the one person whose life hung in the balance. But tonight, as spring rain began to streak the windows and the cherry blossoms in the imperial gardens below swayed like delicate dancers in the wind, Miyuki felt something stirring in her chest, a rebellion that had been growing stronger each day since her father's announcement, a desperate hunger for something real and beautiful and entirely her own. Tomorrow, she was scheduled to begin the traditional bridal preparation classes that would transform her into the perfect corporate wife, starting with ikebana lessons to cultivate the grace and patience expected of a woman in her position. She closed her eyes and made a silent promise to the reflection, staring back at her. Whatever happened in those classes, she would finally listen to her heart, even if it led her toward everything her family feared most. The next morning, Miyuki found herself in a serene garden nestled within the sprawling estate of her family's ancestral home, where the delicate art of ikebana was to be taught. The air was thick with the scent of blooming cherry blossoms, and the soft murmur of a nearby stream seemed to echo the quiet turmoil in her heart. As she carefully arranged the slender branches and vibrant flowers under the watchful eye of her instructor, she felt an unexpected connection, not just to the art, but to the man guiding her hands. His name was Kenji Saito, a master of ikebana whose reputation for blending tradition with subtle innovation had reached even the most rigid circles of Tokyo's elite. Miyuki noticed the gentle way he observed the flowers, the quiet passion in his movements, and the kindness that flickered in his eyes when their hands brushed accidentally, sending a tremor through her fingers and a quickening to her heartbeat. It was a stark contrast to the cold formality of her arranged engagement, a world where emotions were often sacrificed for duty. As the lesson progressed, Miyuki's thoughts drifted to the life she was expected to lead, one of duty, appearances, and sacrifice. Yet here, in this tranquil moment, she glimpsed a different path, one where beauty and freedom intertwined seamlessly. The subtle smile Kenji offered when she hesitated felt like an unspoken promise, a secret shared between two souls who dared to defy expectations and societal norms. When the lesson ended, Miyuki lingered, reluctant to leave the sanctuary they had created together. She caught a glimpse of a small, intricately folded note tucked beneath a delicate porcelain vase, a delicate hint that this encounter was only the beginning of something far more profound and transformative than she had ever imagined. The coincidence of the note's placement, perfectly aligned with the petals she had just arranged, felt like a silent message from fate itself. The cherry blossoms continued to fall gently around them, as if nature itself was blessing this unexpected connection, a fragile yet powerful bond that promised to challenge everything Miyuki thought she knew about love and duty. Over the following weeks, Miyuki found herself drawn to the ikebana lessons with an intensity that surprised even her, discovering that each session revealed not just Kenji's mastery of his art, but layers of his soul that resonated with hidden parts of herself she had never dared acknowledge. When he spoke about the philosophy behind flower arrangement, how beauty emerged from accepting imperfection, how strength could be found in flexibility, his words seemed to echo thoughts she'd carried silently for years, creating an uncanny sense that they had somehow known each other long before their paths crossed in her family's garden. Can you feel that undeniable chemistry building? The way two hearts start recognizing each other? You have no idea what's coming next. Follow Sparks5 Stories to never miss these magical moments when souls connect. Now, shall we continue our story? During their third lesson, as cherry blossoms fell like snow around them, Kenji mentioned that he had studied business before dedicating his life to traditional arts, revealing a choice that mirrored her own secret dreams of abandoning corporate expectations for something more meaningful. The coincidence felt too perfect, too precisely aligned with her deepest longings, especially when she noticed that his hands trembled slightly as he adjusted her grip on the delicate stems. The same nervous energy she felt coursing through her own fingertips whenever their eyes met across the arrangement. It was during a quiet moment as they both reached for the same fallen petal that their fingers brushed and lingered longer than accident would explain, and Miyuki felt the overwhelming certainty that this man understood her in ways Hiroshi never could or would. The connection felt so natural, so effortless, that she began to wonder if the universe had conspired to place them in each other's lives at precisely the right moment. Yet as this thought crystallized into dangerous hope, she caught a glimpse of her reflection in the garden's ornamental pond and remembered with a cold shock of reality that in just 3 weeks she would officially announce her engagement to another man, making what felt like destiny suddenly seem like the cruelest kind of impossibility. The inevitable confrontation arrived on a rain-soaked Tuesday morning when Miyuki's father summoned her to his mahogany-paneled office, his normally composed demeanor replaced by an expression of barely contained fury as he placed a photograph on his desk, a grainy image of her and Kenji walking together through the garden, their faces turned toward each other with unmistakable intimacy, captured by what could only have been a private investigator's camera. The betrayal she felt wasn't just in being watched, but in seeing their precious moments reduced to evidence of her supposed misconduct. And as her father's voice cut through the air with words about family honor, business partnerships, and the catastrophic consequences of her reckless infatuation, Miyuki realized that her secret sanctuary had been violated in ways that made her feel exposed and vulnerable. When her father delivered his ultimatum, cease all contact with Kenji immediately or face complete disinheritance and the destruction of business relationships that had taken decades to build, Miyuki felt the weight of generations pressing down on her shoulders. Yet what surprised her most was the strange sense of clarity that accompanied her desperation, as if some part of her had been preparing for this moment all along, waiting for the universe to force her hand in ways she couldn't have anticipated. Standing there in that oppressive office, surrounded by portraits of ancestors who had all chosen duty over desire, Miyuki found herself thinking about the perfectly aligned note under the porcelain vase. The impossible coincidences of her connection with Kenji and the growing certainty that their meeting had been orchestrated by forces beyond human understanding, which made her father's demands feel not just cruel, but like a test of her faith in something larger than family expectations. The choice before her wasn't simply between love and obligation. It was between trusting in the mysterious synchronicities that had brought her to this crossroads, or surrendering to the safer path of predetermined arrangements, knowing that either decision would irrevocably alter not just her own destiny, but the intricate web of fate that seemed to be weaving itself around her heart. The days that followed were a tempest of emotions, each one crashing over Miyuki with relentless force as she grappled with the unbearable weight of her father's ultimatum and the cruel reality of her impending separation from Kenji. A pain so visceral that she felt as though her own heart was being pulled in different directions, leaving her gasping for breath when the full magnitude of what she was losing threatened to consume her entirely. The sanctuary they had built together felt changed forever, replaced by a hollow silence that echoed through the halls of her ancestral home, where every corner seemed to whisper reminders of what she was about to lose, and where the cherry blossoms outside her window appeared to mock her with their fleeting beauty, just as her happiness had proven equally ephemeral. My heart is racing right now. Can you feel that intensity when everything hangs in the balance? If this story is touching your soul the way it's touching mine, show some love with a like for Sparks Fly Stories. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. Shall we continue our story? Miyuki's heart ached with a rawness she had never known possible. The pain of love, threatened by duty, cutting deeper than any physical wound could ever reach. And she found herself retreating into memories of stolen moments, the gentle brush of Kenji's hand against hers, the quiet laughter beneath the cherry blossoms, the secret notes folded with care and hidden away like fragile treasures, each recollection now carrying the weight of something sacred being systematically dismantled. The perfectly aligned note under the porcelain vase, the impossible coincidences of their meeting, the sense that the universe had conspired to bring them together. All of it now felt like a cruel joke played by fate itself, as if destiny had introduced her to her soulmate only to demonstrate how powerless love could be against family obligation and social expectation. As the day of the engagement announcement drew inexorably closer, Miyuki felt the walls closing in around her, the pressure of tradition and expectation suffocating her spirit until she could barely breathe. Yet, even in her darkest moments, she found herself clinging to memories of Kenji's eyes when he looked at her. The way he had spoken about finding beauty in accepting imperfection, and the strange certainty she had felt that their connection transcended mere chance or circumstance. The love she had discovered with him had shown her a version of herself she had never known existed, brave, passionate, willing to fight for something beautiful, rather than simply accepting what was predetermined. And even as her family's demands threatened to destroy everything, she realized that this transformation within herself could never be undone, that loving Kenji had changed her in ways that would endure, regardless of whether they could be together. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the house slept and she was alone with her breaking heart, Miyuki whispered a desperate vow to the cherry blossoms outside her window, promising to find a way to fight for the love that had transformed her very essence, even if it meant defying everything she had ever been taught to believe about duty, family, and the role of women in their ancient lineage, because she now understood that some connections between souls were too profound to be severed by human convention, and perhaps the same mysterious forces that had brought them together might yet provide a path through what seemed like an impossible situation. Miyuki's discovery shattered the fragile boundaries of her world, revealing a truth that connected every impossible coincidence and whispered of a love destined beyond mere chance. Because as she pieced together the clues, the perfectly aligned note, Kenji's hidden past in business, the subtle tremors in their shared moments, she realized their meeting was no accident, but a cosmic design, a thread woven through time to unite two souls brave enough to defy fate itself. And this revelation transformed everything she thought she knew about coincidence, destiny, and the mysterious forces that govern human connection. With this earth-shattering understanding burning in her heart like a sacred flame, Miyuki found renewed strength that transformed her despair into fierce determination, and she began to challenge the rigid expectations that had once chained her to a life of quiet compliance, speaking with a voice steadier and more certain than she had ever known, confronting her family with the undeniable truth of her love and the mysterious forces that had brought them together across impossible odds. Each conversation became a battle, fraught with tension and resistance, yet Miyuki's resolve only deepened with every challenge, fueled by the profound knowledge that some connections transcended tradition, obligation, and even the carefully constructed boundaries of social expectation. Kenji, too, stood by her side with unwavering devotion, his quiet support serving as a beacon of hope in the storm of opposition that threatened to tear them apart. And together, they navigated the treacherous waters of societal judgment and familial pressure, their bond growing stronger and more unbreakable with every challenge they faced as a united front. Miyuki's heart, once torn between duty and desire, now beat with fierce clarity that embraced a future where love was not a concession to be grudgingly accepted, but a triumph to be celebrated, a victory over everything that sought to diminish the power of true connection. As the days unfolded with breathtaking intensity, the mysterious forces that had orchestrated their meeting seemed to guide their steps with invisible hands, weaving a tapestry of hope and resilience that promised not just survival but a love that would endure beyond the constraints of their world, setting the stage for a revelation that would transform not only their understanding of their connection, but their entire comprehension of what it truly means when two souls are destined to find each other against all odds. Quiet aftermath of the storm, Miyuki stood by the window of her ancestral home, watching the cherry blossoms drift gently to the ground, their fleeting beauty a reminder of the fragile yet enduring nature of love. The revelations that had reshaped her understanding of fate and connection lingered in her heart, weaving a tapestry of hope and mystery that refused to unravel. She reflected deeply on the journey that had brought her here, the impossible coincidences, the secret notes, and the quiet strength she had found within herself to defy expectations and embrace a love that transcended tradition and time. Though the path ahead remained uncertain and fraught with challenges, Miyuki felt a profound peace in knowing that some bonds were meant to endure beyond time and circumstance, beyond the limits of human understanding. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the sprawling cityscape, she whispered a silent promise to the universe, a vow to cherish the love that had transformed her life and to remain open to the mysteries and possibilities that lay ahead. In that moment, Miyuki understood that true love was not just a fleeting spark, but a lasting flame, one that could illuminate even the darkest of paths and guide lost souls home. With a heart both heavy and hopeful, she turned away from the window, ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that the love she had discovered was a force that would forever shape her destiny and the story she was destined to live. Wasn't that absolutely beautiful? The way mysterious forces brought Miyuki and Kenji together, proving that some connections truly transcend coincidence. If stories like this make you believe in destined love again, subscribe to Sparks Fly Stories and hit that like button. We share these incredible moments when hearts find their perfect match every single day, because sometimes love really does have a plan of its own.